Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with internet. So, thank everyone who said, well wishes and all this. Hope everything's good with the hurricane coming through. I mean, everything was pretty okay here. Just no internet. Not too bad. Although I know, some family in Houston had some major troubles. So, yeah, not as bad here for sure. Okay. Anyways, you're not here for that. Let's go ahead and get into the team here. It's going to be from page 1 on the leaderboard. It is a very basic meta team. Nothing you wouldn't see, and you probably see one of these 3 mon in every single game you play, if not 90% of the games you play here in Great League Remix. So I feel like that's how teams are in the page 1 of the leaderboard. There's usually only 2 things that happen. There is one anti-meta pick that you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Something like Shadow Magnezone in this meta is kind of weird, but it can work, and it can definitely win you some games. And then you also see like ultra meta teams and just people saying basically, I will outplay you. I'm going to play all the mon you know everything about, and I'm going to outplay you. So those are the 2 basic teams I feel like you see in the top leaderboard. Even I'm not even just page 1. This is like pretty true for like probably the top 3 pages of people, at least the top 2 pages of people on the leaderboard. But anyways, if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. I know a lot of y'all have been doing that, and I thank you so much for that. And let's go ahead and just get into this video. I think I've cut everything. Okay, good. Look at that. Normal Quagsire in the nameplates there. No, normal looking. It's the shadow version. Normal looking, not a crazy version with a haircut. All right. Let's get into it. Double here in the front. I mean, it's pretty neutral. The things you kind of have to worry about in this matchup are, do they have payback or do they have wild charge? If they have wild charge, I really don't want to be playing them on in the back. If it has payback, I really want to be playing them on in the back against this thing. So let's see. Oh, I should say also, obviously, well, maybe it's not obvious. I'm playing these games. Didn't get these from anyone at the top, but I did see their team being played. So, and I wasn't able to reach out to them, so I don't want to expose anyone that doesn't agree for me to expose their name, but we'll see. They come in with Kofagrigus. Obviously, that is very bad against Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz coming in here. And I decided to go for a little bit of an undercharge here on the Aerial Ace. They don't really do anything that can really hurt this Mandibuzz. So I just want to do a little bit of damage, and then I'll farm all the way down from here. Probably could have done a little bit more there on the Aerial Ace. I really actually thought it was going to do more. I guess Kofa is a little bit more bulky than I thought, but they only get 1 extra move off. Not too bad. I'm going to throw the Dark Pulse kind of into anything here. I didn't see a double kick come through, so probably didn't CMP there. And then I come in with the Snipe here on Poliwrath, because even if it's a bad matchup for Poliwrath, I can at least get the Icy Wind into this thing. And it ends up being a very bad matchup for Poliwrath, which is Jellicent. Something I've actually seen on the rise very recently. Kind of been seeing a lot of Jellicent here. Makes a little bit of sense because... Oh, actually, they're double Ghost, I just realized. Makes sense because Ghost is sometimes harder to play in the open Great League, but in this meta, Jellicent, and I didn't even think about it, but I thought Jellicent was kind of the only Ghost. I guess Kofa is in here too. I would guess Runerigus is in here as well. But yeah, giving it a little bit, it's probably got more place to shine in this meta than ever before. It can really do well against like Poliwrath, decent against way more better against Registeel than you think. It's actually fine into Ferrothorn. It's good into I already said Poliwrath, Quagsire. So yeah, it has a lot of play. We end up catching here on the Quagsire. They undercharge, which is obviously good by them. They're going to try to farm down, but we also have 2 shields and a move here. Alolan Ninetales with Charm. So this always played out in a very similar fashion. There are 2 ways this always played out. I'm going to go all the way up to the Stone Edge and then throw. That's very good timing here for a 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move. You want to throw on 7, which would be 14 turns under their 5 charms, which would be 15 turns. But then you can always go for the Aqua Tail next, which again could be another Stone Edge. And if they shield, you get 2 away from the next Aqua Tail, which gives you somewhat good timing, not the best, but also gets you always under this charm. And this seemed to work out no matter what IVs the Alolan Ninetales had, and then you farm down with the Poliwrath. This happens, I think, a few more times. Hopefully I'm able to show some of those games more. I forgot exactly what... I think I recorded these games yesterday, but I'm only just now getting to them. But I do remember facing a lot of Alolan Ninetales, so hopefully we showed a few of those. Sometimes I don't like to show the same lead over and over, but I definitely think it's worth it, so hopefully I did do that. Yeah, Mandibuzz is decent against Poliwrath, especially since we had the shield. It's going to be very good, and we obviously want this against the Jellicent. Man, for some reason I was... And I thought they were going to catch here, by the way, so that's why I threw... or decided to throw the Dark Pulse, when I could have very easily just thrown the Aerial Ace. And this game's going to get really close now. Luckily for me, I guess I'm able to Icy Wind. Is it lucky, though? Because now I feel like they're going to get to 2 moves, and I assume that I lose CMP. But if I do get to 2 Icy Winds, we probably don't get KO'd by a Surf. I also don't really want to throw a Scald because it only has a chance for the debuff, and the damage I'm doing now really isn't going to matter that much. Their switch is definitely not up, so I'm going to go for the CMP here. And now is a real question of... I know I'm not going to get killed by the Surf here, they're double debuffed, but I know this is going to KO, and whether or not a Snarl is going to KO before 2 counters KO, or before 1 counter KOs... And it does. Really good, really lucky by me here. All right, Deoxys here into Quagsire. So Deoxys, I've seen more and more Deoxys running Rock Slide than Thunderbolt, which makes a lot of sense in this meta. But I figure the first one's going to be... I figure they're only going to be throwing Psycho Boost. It is neutral, whereas Rock Slide is resisted. They end up coming in with a Greedent, and I did think about this as an error during this game. I guess I could just talk about it here. I was going to pause the video, but this matchup actually ends up taking a long time because Greedent does have Trailblaze, and while we don't have to shield the first one, if they don't shield this, I'm going to have to shield the next one or just give up Poliwrath, but I probably won't give up Poliwrath. I'll probably rather go down 2 shields, have Poliwrath for a little bit of damage, even against the Deoxys is going to be a decent amount if we can get that Scald off. But you should definitely come in Mandibuzz, because Mandibuzz really doesn't get hit by anything by Greedent. But I was like, oh, I'm going to save this Mandibuzz for the Deoxys. But why does that even matter? That doesn't matter that much. So I end up going for CMP here on Quagsire with the Stone Edge, which does more damage, more raw damage, and would probably end up KOing. And then they come in with a... Greninja, and I do throw the bait move here because I'm going to switch into my Mandibuzz anyways here, and then I know that I can get to another another Aqua Tail with Quagsire there, so I want to just take as much damage as I can here on the Mandibuzz, and then I definitely live a Night Slash on Quagsire, but by the looks of it, I might even live a Hydro Cannon, to be honest. Now, I know this is going to go for... He's going to go for CMP now that I'm on the move, and they obviously got to charge his moves a lot faster than me. So, opponent played this absolutely perfect, but we still have a move on Quagsire here, basically, if I want to go for the Aqua Tail. I do go for the extra 1 Mud Shot, just to do that a little bit of extra damage and not try to go for CMP or anything like that. Alright, Deoxys lead. So, same thing. I think I do play this one different. I actually think I end up going for a catch here. We'll see, though. No, I don't. But they let me get to a Stone Edge, which is weird. Oh, and then I switched to Mandibuzz because I'm like, okay, well, I kind of did everything I wanted to do here. If they want to throw, I'll at least be able to catch on the Mandibuzz. I do get a Snarl through as well, which is pretty nice. And yeah, they go for the Psycho Boost, which is double resisted. Unfortunately, they do have a Togedemaru. Oh my god, I remember this game. I really... disliked this opponent going for infinite baits, which I guess I fell for in the end. So, oh wait, I called the first one. Nice. I don't call the second one, so less nice. I'm like, they're only gonna bait once. Probably Wild Charge ends up KOing at this point. So then I'm like, okay, I'll go for the bait because obviously they're just trying to save this thing forever. So I do come in with the Quagsire, and I kind of figure Quagsire does the same thing as Poliwrath, so I can take any move here, and I end up coming back in with Mandibuzz to go for the farm down. I'm going to just eat another Wild Charge here, and then we're all in on Poliwrath. So I just definitely didn't want them to throw a move into Poliwrath, and I felt like they were going to be able to do that. They are low on HP on Deoxys, but they do have a Psycho Boost, but they only have one. So I think there are 2 or 3 over. Like I said, I played these games yesterday, so I don't 100% remember them last night. And I figure I can take this last resort, especially since I reduced it. I definitely need to save the shield for the Deoxys. I can shield this and farm all the way down, and I can throw another Icy Wind into the Umbreon. And I probably I go for good timing here because they're not at the move. And we're going to reduce it so that the last resort doesn't KO us, and they should be in a farm down range here, basically. Yeah, they're 1 counter away from getting KO'd, and I should live a last resort. It is non-stab, and we get the Umbreon down. So Poliwrath doing a lot of work, definitely be able to soak up all that energy on basically sacking Quagsire and Mandibuzz to allow Poliwrath to really reign free in the back there was a great call, especially considering that DD had a move, so we knew we weren't ever going to be able to shield whatever was going to be in the back. But it did seem almost ABB. I thought it would be something like Greedent, if I'm being honest, which would have been probably a lot worse, just considering they have Trailblaze. Yeah. Anyways, Quagsire into Umbreon in the lead. We do get a big energy advantage before swapping out and catching the move here on Mandibuzz. But they do have a Lonely Ninetales here in the back. It is not Charm, which is nice, I guess. I am going to be able to get 2 moves into this thing, and I kind of just want to get it low enough, right? And I almost go for bad timing there, but then I'm able to hold myself back, a little resolve here, and I do end up going for bad timing anyways here because they could get to the move, they were 1 away, and if I went for a full Snarl, they could go in between that, and I didn't want them to have the chance to do that. They end up throwing a move here before I get to my last Aerial Ace. Makes sense. Like I said, they could have always thrown right before. But I'm going to be able to get this farm down here on Quagsire. Now I have just so much energy on Quagsire. They end up throwing energy here on Umbreon. I thought I clicked the move, but I guess I lose CMP. We definitely went over 100 energy by a lot here. That's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, we still do have a lot of energy. I'm going to go for a catch here on Poliwrath. End up getting another catch here on the Umbreon. This Umbreon is having a bad day. We caught 2 resisted moves already. They end up coming in with their own Quagsire. I can definitely... they have a Mud Bomb. Okay. Yeah, this is the best thing they could have, I guess. So that's nice for them. But we are going to be able to do a lot of damage here. We might even shield the next move, which means we probably should have shielded the first move if that was going to be the case, because I think I can get the farm down from here. And then we get to Icy Wind the Umbreon, which would be really nice. And then have all that energy to throw at the Umbreon on the Quagsire itself. We know they're not directly on a move, but it's all about, do you think you can get the 0 turn, which is greedy, I know, but I do like going for those greedy plays, and maybe that's just me. End up trying to catch a move, end up throwing I thought on CMP, but they actually did get a Snarl through here, but we get the Aqua Tail off, and since it wasn't on CMP, we get to go both of these moves, and they actually didn't throw on CMP again, they went for another Snarl. Interesting. Alright, Magnezone and the Quagsire. This is a great mon for us. I end up taking a little bit of damage there on Quagsire just to get my energy up a lot. For later, Quagsire up energy can really hit a lot of things. I mean, we have really good coverage with Aqua Tail and Stone Edge. That's just a lot of coverage in general, and actually the Mud Shot is going to be decent coverage against the Shadow Magnezone anyways because it is just so frail. They end up coming in with Hypno, they hit us with a Thunder Punch. The next Thunder Punch is not going to KO, but they don't throw for a while, and I'm like, I can just KO this. I know that they just want me to have, they want to have a lot of time with his Mandibuzz with their Magnezone, but at the same time, I actually go for maximum efficiency, going to 5, assuming that they want to farm me down. Which they do, and it means we're going to be able to end up doing a lot of collateral damage to them with our Mandibuzz. It is very bulky, so it's able to survive, and then I am sniping it down with a Poliwrath, and that's just going to be GG. Since it takes 4 turns for a Volt Switch to come through, I knew I was going to get those 2 counters in there, which was very nice. So I'm always going to go for that kind of snipe down because they're obviously trying to farm us all the way down on Mandibuzz. So really got to think about what your opponent is doing or trying to do, and try to play around that if you can. Obviously, there are points where you can get stuck in a situation where you can't do anything except stay in the matchup, the bad matchup you're in. But if you do have some plays to do, definitely you should be thinking about what you want to be doing. Yeah, they end up trying to catch here on a Quagsire for our Stone Edge, but luckily we don't have to throw right away since we know their counts. And we're able to get our Poliwrath into this Quagsire, which is a very good matchup for Poliwrath. We go for CMP here. Another Quagsire with Mud Bomb, which is quite bad for our Poliwrath. But we're going to live 2 anyways, and we're going to get this farm down. We're not going to really get anything else out of this. They're going to come back in with the Mantine and farm us down for sure. Now, we can definitely make a choice on if we want to throw a Stone Edge. I do throw the Stone Edge here, and now it's whether or not we want to switch into Mandibuzz, to allow their energy to not really do that much. Even if I thought in the moment, even if it's Ice Beam, I don't really care that much. I want to save the shield possibly for Quagsire in the back, assuming that they have something weak against Quagsire in the back because their lead was Mantine, which is very good against Quagsire. So yeah, they end up having a Gligar. Yeah, very meta team by them, but you know, we've got a lot of energy on Quagsire, which is always going to be good. Now, unfortunately, I was trying to take a shield here, and now this is not going to get a shield, so I'm hoping that we can get to this Aerial Ace and maybe force a shield. They go for CMP, and I decide to just shield this and go for... I thought we were CMP'd, but yeah, we can go for this Aerial Ace and then go for a combo play here on the Quagsire. I actually thought I was at the move. Luckily, they did not throw, and yeah, we were able to get this Aqua Tail off and then farm down this Mantine, and that'll be GG. Oh, yes. I'm so glad there was another Alolan Ninetales in here. So yeah, I do the same thing every time. I'm pretty sure I played 3 Alolan Ninetales leads that day. I don't know why I remember that number. Oh, wait. I think it was 3. Or it was 4 and one of them had Powder Snow in the lead. But the same thing happens whether or not they shield the first one or the second one. They're always going to shield once. And if you shield once, they're always going to shield 2. You don't even have to go up to the Stone Edge because you saw there they called the bait. But we get to the next move in 1. And, wow, they actually caught the move. And we would be able to get to the next one in 2, which they would have double shielded. So glad to have at least be able to show y'all that that's the way that it always goes there. I really go all the way up to max energy here. I usually won't go all the way up to max like that. I'll go 1 because I feel like we're going to have to get through this Deoxys anyways. Luckily, they do have Rock Slide, so we are going to survive this and get this farm down, which is nice. Mandibuzz also having a lot of neutral play into a lot of things. Obviously, they did show the Ninetales earlier. And a second Aerial Ace will KO. The first one did KO as well. I did not think that was going to happen. They end up having their own Poliwrath in the back. I'm going to throw this Aerial Ace and then switch into my own Poliwrath. They do let it go, so I do want to be able to... Let me pause for a second. So the reason I did not switch into my Poliwrath right away there was I was literally thinking, okay, they're so far ahead of me in the Poliwrath mirror that I need to possibly have my switch up. My Quagsire has no HP, so I'll have the switch up not to catch anything, but to remove the debuff that I'm obviously going to get. They're never going to throw Scald into my shield, but I can't risk it myself, so I am going to have to shield either way. And the Icy Wind, I'm going to need to remove that debuff because we're kind of all in on counter damage at this point, considering that they also still have a shield. So they throw the Icy Wind, I switch right away, they KO it in 1 counter, I go back to my counter down, and we get that counter down. Hisuian Electrode, weird. Into Galvantula, also weird. And at this point, I'm like, okay. Triple Electric. My backline is so bad against this that I'm going to have to be all in on Quagsire. Now, I do have a bit of a lead here on Quagsire, so that is good. I don't remember at the time if I thought this is going to be triple electric. If I think that... Oh. Okay, they come back in Hisuian Electrode. I probably should come in Mandibuzz if I'm being honest, because it's more of a hit for them to go for Wild Charge than it is for them to go for Energy Ball, because obviously double reduces their damage. Now, they end up coming with a pure electric type, and I know that this only has electric moves. Now, problem for me is I don't have Mud Shot or Mud Bomb, which would be crazy good in this triple electric team. They actually get that Zap Cannon off, and then I go for the Stone Edge, and I'm hoping that it KOs, and it actually does not KO, which puts me in a horrific position. I really, I don't wish I had shielded the, and then I just get KO'd. I don't wish that I had shielded the Zap Cannon. I only wish that the Stone Edge had KO'd, because we always have to have saved the shield for this Electrode since it has a double super effective move. Although, maybe we would have gotten the shield, and we could have won with Mandibuzz against this. That's very possible. We lost CMP there, and that's just GG. Man, I can't believe I lost triple electric with the Quagsire, but to be honest, the backline is just so bad against electric, it's crazy. I end up going for a catch here on the Shadow Ball, which is nice, but they are able to farm all the way back up to this. Now, the only thing that changes is this switch clock is crazy in my favor, about 15 seconds. Ugh, they have Carbink against my Mandibuzz. So terrible for me. They're just going to try to farm me all the way down. The best thing I can do is go for, I'm going to go as efficient as possible, but I can also try to get to my clock and hope that Mandibuzz is alive still for something in the back. I mean, this is still enough HP to be okay in the matchup against Giratina. Now, they should still be down for another 7-8 seconds, so I am able to get to this next move. This is CMP. I probably just won't shield this move if they end up shielding. Kind of all in on Poliwrath here. I know that Icy Wind is going to be super effective, so I'm going to need that those shields probably for a Shadow Ball. We do know that the Giratina does have a lot of energy. Now, I am stuck in this clock for a little bit, and they end up coming in with a Powder Snow Alola Ninetales. So good for us. I end up catching a move just because I can. It is double resisted, and they are going to get some damage off, but we're going to get some damage off or they're going to get some energy, but we're going to get some damage off as well, which is going to be nice. I probably can't afford to take a Psyshock, so I'll probably farm this all the way down, and I'll probably will shield this. And then I will have to shield the Shadow Ball coming in from the Giratina, but my plan is basically just double Icy Wind into the Giratina, but I need to be afraid of the Switch Clock, and we need to make sure that we don't... This gets weird in the end. I know Switch is not up, so I am able to throw this right away, but Switch is basically up at this point now. So we're at the move. I know that I have like a few turns before they get to another move, and I wait a turn, but it lags. And then I'm like, I don't know if they swapped or not. And it led me to this really horrific situation where I didn't know whether or not I was going to make it or not. I hate this game sometimes. We are able to win, but I wish we could have seen the move. So, like, you want to see their move come through, and they obviously didn't wait a turn. Oh, I should switch the view. They obviously didn't wait a turn because they would have been able to... what am I trying to say? They obviously didn't wait a turn because after that wait, that pause, whatever happened, they kept throwing more moves instead of staying for a pause until I throw a counter. So, yeah, the game message just lagged. So it's a known thing that happens when you stop tapping the screen. Sometimes the game stops responding as well. And I say sometimes, but for the most part, it will stop responding given enough time. But sometimes just after 1 second, it won't stop. But after 3 seconds of not tapping the screen, you're definitely just, the game's going to look like it's paused. But they're actually still doing stuff in the background. It's just your side is paused. Not paused is not the word. It's your side is no longer showing you the game actions that are happening, because since you're not doing game actions, it's not refreshing on your side. So you're not seeing that stuff come through, and that can be very frustrating. Anyways, yeah, this was a page 1 team, obviously super meta. Again, you're not going to see, usually you're going to see either one non-meta mon and it's a crazy mon, but usually you're just going to see super meta teams in the top. So that's just how it is. And yeah, I mean, it's meta is meta for a reason, and the reason is to get wins. So all right, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.